Hi everyone, it's me, Wendy Mooney-Smith, owner of Mangatas, Muse, and the Spiritual Soul Boutique. I have a guest in the shop today. Miss Katrina Elder is in here.
What's up?
Katrina, hi.
Hi.
Welcome everyone. I hope you guys are having a great week so far. I'm also sorry. I've been hyper fixated on the circles under my eyes. I have not been sleeping well. It's the energies. I'm sorry. It's good, Clark. It's good. Okay, so welcome to part 4 of I Am the Monster Under the Bed. This is the final part of the 4-part series that I started last month, 4 weeks ago. Let's try this again. So this segment is on control, and clearly the wheels have fallen off and I have lost control because my mouth is not connecting to my brain right now. So I am a sound healer. I'm a Reiki master and teacher. I'm a yoga instructor. I have a shop here in Franklin, and I am bringing Wednesdays with Wendy. Let's try that again. It's going to be a long segment, guys. I'm sorry. I'm pre-apologizing. So hello, you beautiful souls, and welcome to this final segment. But before we move on, I want to say thank you if you've been here on this journey, even if you don't tune in while I'm live and you're catching the recap and you're sharing it. I really, really appreciate that. And I see some of you have also been watching it on my YouTube channel, which I'm trying to get up and running because my goal is to go and do more virtual so I can bring more healing to you guys outside of this community and in the comfort of your own homes. And if this is the first time you're tuning in, you need to know you're right where you need to be. You can always go back and watch these other segments. You can go to my website. There's a link there that will take you directly to each chapter. The first one was on fear. The second one was on rejection, and the last week was on responsibility and how that relates to self-sabotage. So we have some exciting segues that I will discuss at the end of this clip. But before we get into control, which my friends are laugh when they knew I was doing this. She's like, we know who you are. I want to announce the person for the Pay It Forward. The beautiful radiant soul is Jana Cornelius. Jana, thank you so much for liking my segment and commenting. This mandala is yours, and I hope you like it. I hope she will bring you happiness. It's a nice sunshiny and sort of sunset. Great for your root chakras, which all of this helps to align with. Security, control, responsibility is all about your root chakras. And your sacral and your solar plexus, the yellows, the oranges, and the reds that are in here. So I will message you and let you know that you have received this. I hope you like it. I hope you take care of her. And this week, if you tune in and comment within the week, this week's Pay It Forward, this is a little crystal chakra bag. It is 7 crystals, and you'll get this card that goes along and tells you what each crystal is good for. Great for healing, especially if you are a self-sabotager. So with that, let's go ahead and move into our topic today, which again is about control. And this is the last emotional root of self-sabotage. And we are exploring it together. So the first thing is a quote that I found that I included in this that says, "Control is the illusion of safety when trust has been broken." And that is truly one of the pillars of why we feel like we need to get into control mode. As I said, my friends think it's funny. I did come from the corporate world, so some of it is conditioned. And I am one of those people that is of the mindset, if you want something done right, you have to do it yourself. That is neither healthy nor a great way to actually grow and heal, because it actually creates boundaries. So let's talk about first where control comes from. For many of us, especially those who have experienced trauma in their lives, abandonment or emotional neglect. This fly is back. Yes. He came from the studio. It's up my nose. It's up my nose. What are you? This must be. I'm sorry. This is a serious subject. Go away, fly. He went up my nose. You saw it. Everyone saw it. You're going to see that. So Must be my spirit animal. We need to look up what that means again. But so for those of us who have experienced trauma, neglect, emotional neglect, abandonment, it becomes a survival tool for us. From some of my past relationships and experiences, know this well. As a survival tool, I used to literally like disinfect the entire house from ceiling to floor once a week. I would wash the walls, the windows, every single item in the house literally once a week during one of my relationships, because that was something that I could control. And it was because I was not getting the fulfillment that I needed from my partner at that time. And so this is just one of the ways in which we think we can control. This is just one of the examples. So in addition, we end up micromanaging outcomes, people, they can be, it's plural, plan, even healing itself, because it feels safer for us instead of, just surrendering and just saying, you know what, I give it up to the universe. But here's the twist. And I'm learning this. I've learned this in the last 2 years, that the more we try to control everything, the more we disconnect from flow. It's true. From intuition, some of us are trying to open up our third eye, and when we're disconnected, that will sometimes kind of actually calcify your pineal gland and prevent you from growing and growing that intuition. And also from receiving. And the universe feels this. We talk about I am statements. You should not say, I want to be healthy. I want to be wealthy. I want these things, because then the universe is like going to give that to you. You want it, you got it. You want it, that's what you get. And so saying, I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am wise. You need to make those direct statements for the universe to hear you. So we also read a book with our book club. I don't know if anybody is on. This is what happened last time when you guys were on, and I feel like I'm on here talking to myself. So if you guys are on, thank you so much. I can't see you. I don't know. Facebook is being its fickle bitch self as usual. So I will comment later like I usually do. So I hope you're on here. I hope you're seeing this, and I will follow up with you guys later. He's on my shoulder now. This is my pet fly on my shoulder. We read Women Who Run with Wolves, and that is very much about control and who we are and the different stories that incorporate it. It was a really great book. The book club loved it. I'm still working my way through it. I listened to the audio version of it, and I wanted to get deeper into the stories. So I'm trying to move through that now, and from what I've heard so far, it's great. It's something about us letting go and letting the universe take care of us. So when we feel this way, that is when the self-sabotage tends to creep in. That is how we move into and correlate this. When we allow all of these different things to happen and we try and take control, self-sabotage will creep in very readily, actually. And some of these examples are procrastination. We've talked about this in past segments. It has to be perfect too. Like, how many of us are perfectionists? I know I am. I have literally recorded the sound bath for you guys it took you 3 weeks to get it, because I've literally recorded it 4 or 5 times because I didn't like one thing here or one thing there. It is definitely very much about perfection. Not delegating. As I said, no one can do it better than I can, so I might as well do it myself. And finally, avoiding relationships or vulnerability, because they come with unpredictability. Katrina reminded me as I was reviewing my little speech today, the example of the witch's ball. If you guys know, I lost my mom in October, and it was also during my daughter's wedding, and we had the witch's walk, and we had all of these events going on, and I literally had not even a day to mourn my mom, and I had to roll into all of these events. And my friends saw that I needed help, and I'm not one to ask for help. Because I've always been rejected when I ask for help. When I ask for help in other relationships, I still end up doing it by myself. you know, or I'll get to it. I hear that. I'll get to it. I'll get to it. And then it's like, you know, how many months later? And I'm like, I'll just do it myself. Right. So I think a lot of us feel that. And so it's just easier to try to move through it. And they were like, no, you're not handling this the way that you think you're handling this. And that's what happens is we put ourselves in this little box and we think everything is good. And you have this mask on. We talked about that before, about the masks that we wear. And they were like, no. And thank God for my tribe and my friends to tell me that and be forthcoming with sharing that with me and being honest and saying you need help, because then they were able to take it over and things went very, very well. And it was a lesson for me to realize that I can delegate. I can trust other people to do this. I just have to be able to communicate better as to what it is that I want, right? So just one little example. So the other thing we want to talk about is that sometimes control is also a form of protection. It's not necessarily a flaw to be controlling. It is a form of protection. This is something that we create. It's because we feel like I've been hurt before and I'm not going to let that happen again. And so here we are now putting up those walls. I'll just do it myself because I'm not going to get burnt again. Right? If someone doesn't do a job, I think the best example of this is when I went to school, and if you guys, even high school, college, whatever it is, and you have to do group projects. Oh my God, do you hate group projects? I hated them because I was the one that did all of the work, and there was always somebody who like sat back and just took the grade. It was an A. Took the A. And I did the work, and then I'm resentful, and I'm like, or they just didn't meet the timeline. Like I got a bad grade on a group project because the person had a life thing happen, which I get, but they didn't communicate that. And then the rest of us had to suffer for that issue because then we didn't get our assignment in on time. So no, I get it. I'm not making an excuse. I'm just giving you an example. So in my, and in my own relationships, I am codependent. I've had some codependent relationships. I am very comfortable in saying that. I've read a lot of books. I've gone to therapy for it. My mother was an alcoholic. I'm very open about that. She had alcohol-induced Alzheimer's. Yes, that is a real thing. So, you know, when you are in relationships that involve alcohol abuse, control shows up very, very constantly, because while you can't control that relationship and what's happening in that relationship, there are other aspects that you feel more comfortable in. So I need to know, and I needed to know, and I'm saying this because this is ongoing for me. I was writing this and I'm like, let's be honest. This is present tense. That I still need to know what's happening. So what I'm saying is, when you are in control, it's because you feel like you always need to know what's happening. He's back again. And like you need to know at all times. So that is one way that we're in control. Or obsessively planning. You have to plan everything to a T. You just can't go with the flow. I'm still very much that way. I need to plan things. And if like there's a hiccup, sometimes it's a little hard for me to recuperate from that. And I'm sure a lot of us have experienced that, you know? It's because I don't trust others willingly, going back to the whole witch's ball example. But eventually I realized, and I'm continuing to realize, that ultimately I'm just building a cage around myself, and we call it a sanctuary. And my control is not keeping me safe. It will not keep me safe. It will keep me small. And I don't want to dim my light, right? I've been telling you guys, don't dim your light. We don't want to dim our light for anybody. And when we're in control, or we think we're in control, we're dimming our light. And this leads to the self-sabotage, as I said. So I want to ask you guys, where in your life are you gripping too tightly? Think about it for a second. What would it feel like if you loosen the reins just a little bit? There is a sound healing meditation I do with you guys where I have you walking along the beach and I let you write in the sand What is something that is a burden to you, and have the waves wash it away? And what will your life look like if you're able to let go of it just a little bit? I want to bring that to you. So from there, think about that. Maybe write it down, maybe do some journaling on that. And I want to give you one more thing before I talk about how sound can help you with this. So we need to learn to take control and move into trust. And you're like, control and trust, does that go together? It does. Because healing can happen when we can take control and learn to trust others through delegating, through letting other people into our lives. Trust in ourselves to do this stuff. Trust in the spirit. Trust in the universe. Trust in the timing of our lives. It is amazing how things show up when they're supposed to. Mind body showed up when it needed to. Another marketing guy said, this isn't going to work for me, and mind body came in, right? Another thing happened with me, and then virtual was brought to me. So everything happens exactly when it's supposed to, when you're finally able to give it up to the universe. So I want to say to you guys, I want you to also know that it's not about chaos. Like when I'm letting go, this is not about chaos. I'm just going to let everything go willy-nilly. It's about co-creating instead of controlling. Like I said, it's just like, okay, asking, maybe giving it up to God. I am giving this up to you to lead me in where I'm supposed to be with the sound healing journey. So some other practices is breathing, right? Meditation, mindfulness. How else can we learn to trust? Breathing into the uncertainty instead of trying to fix it. Saying, I don't know, and that's okay. That's something I am good at. If someone's like, do you know this? I'm like, I don't know. If I don't know, I know people who know. I will look it up and get back to you. It is okay to say I don't know. For some reason, we feel like that's a huge design flaw if we don't know. Trusting in your self-made choices, your past self-made choices, with the information you had. Sometimes you look back and you're like, oh, I should have done things differently. But don't think of it that way. Look at what information you had and go, I did the best of my ability, and be okay with that and give yourself grace. And then invite softness where you once needed armor. Instead of having to be that tough warrior all the time, I know where I'm like working with you guys about being the warrior, then how about you just kind of give up to it and relinquish that control and let your guard down. Be the softness in that situation. So on top of those three ways, how about we talk about sound, right? Like I said, someone said, you don't talk about sound enough. So the need to control everything around us, we talk about that. It was rooted in fear, because of fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of vulnerability, responsibility, all of these things that we talked about in the last couple weeks. And there's now a sound healing on the line, on the YouTube that I sent to you guys who tuned in. But this is a defense mechanism, and it's built from the wounds and survival and learned behaviors. But when control becomes rigid, it cuts us off from flow, it cuts us off from trust and transformation. And that's where sound healing can come in and be your powerful ally. It heals because it bypasses the thinking mind. You guys know, you go to bed and this is why I look like this, because I haven't been able to tame the squirrels while I'm sleeping at night. So the bowls allow you to move away that part that's always strategizing, always clenching, always overcorrecting, always planning. I'm like, I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. And then the vibrations and the chimes from other instruments, my sound drum and my ocean drum and all of these things, they help quiet the overactive mind and quiet the overactive nervous system. Yes, it's science. This is science. It's for science. Yes, it helps lower cortisol levels, and it helps instill theta brainwaves. activity. This is where surrender happens. This is where deep rest happens and subconscious healing happens. And it's through this state of resonance, your body and energy field can begin to release this energy that you're holding on to, this tension, this hypervigilance of overthought, the squirrels that come with needing to control everything. So you shift from control to trust, overthinking to stillness, and resistance to receptivity. That's pretty great, right? That's what these bowls can do for you. Let me play them for you. I promise you, you will love it. So each session will remind you, and it becomes a reminder, a constant reminder that you don't have to hold on to all of this. This is not all for you to hold on to. You can allow it, you can soften, you can receive. Sound does not ask you to fix all of these problems. It simply asks you to feel, and when you feel, that is when the healing begins. So with that, folks, I know this one is a little bit longer, and I have some exciting news that's coming up. So stick with me just a little bit longer, just another couple minutes. So I want to remind you guys that I did this. I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry. I just want you guys to know that you are not the monster under the bed. You're not. I'm not. I'm learning that. Initially I was, and that's what helped me get through this. But you guys are the ones that turned on the light by watching these segments to realize that you can face this on your own and become brighter and let your light shine. Yes, you're not the monsters. You're not. So let today be the day that you trade this illusion of control for the freedom of trust. Let it go, let it go. She's watching me and she's over there smiling. I love you, lady. You don't have to white knuckle your way through life anymore. You were never meant to. You need to remember that. And I'm here to help you guys move through that, and I hope you'll share this with people that you know may need this in your life. We do not need to white knuckle our ways through life anymore. We have a great group of women here. We're here to support you. The women on here watching this are here to support you. So I'm so excited to announce our next segment. It is a 12-week session. And you're going to see all of these changes starting in July. I'm so excited watching next week's because the yoga flows, the sound baths, the meditations that are coming up are going to be all a part of this program. And you guys can buy like 4-week program like I Need to Work on Self-Sabotage. So the session starting next Wednesday is called She Who Remembers. And the theme is, after we've named all of these wounds and we remember all of the wisdom, and this is going to then move us into a journey of reclaiming identity. We need to reclaim our identities, lady, our intuition and our inner power. And some of the topics, we're going to talk about the forgotten self, who you were before the world told you who you were, right? We talk about that. We have to make ourselves into this person so we're not rejected. Reclaiming our voice, speaking after years of silence. I have been quiet for a really long time. Sacred boundaries, saying no as an act of love. You don't always have to be willing to give in. And returning to the body, healing shame and disassociation, and trusting the inner oracle so that you can reconnect with your intuition. The next series, starting just about the end of July, beginning of August, is going to be called The Alchemy of the Wound. I've been busy, can you tell? And this is a deep dive into turning these emotional wounds into sacred transformation. All of this is going to be posted. You're going to see what's coming up so you can make sure to stay tuned. Maybe there's a section that you want to watch in particular. And those 4 weeks the yoga practice, the flow, the meditations, all of this stuff will align with each of these topics. And this one's going to talk about taking grief and turning it into grace, anger into boundaries, shame into sovereignty, fear into freedom, and guilt into growth. So that's what we're going to talk about. And then finally, the last 4 weeks will be titled The Unbecoming. And I'm really excited about that one because that is a spiritual shedding. That is a letting go of what was never yours in the first place so that you can truly emerge. And we're going to talk about the roles that we wear as a mother, as a martyr, as a pleaser, as a perfecter. And the mask of survival, smiling through the trauma and through the pain that we do. We got to stop doing that. living unapologetically, the art of raw truth. And finally, unbecoming does not mean failure or falling apart. It's about becoming whole. So I hope these sound interesting to you. I'm very excited about where my business is going and what I'm going to bring to you guys. And like I said, I did let it slip. Starting in July, Mind Body, there's going to be newsletters, there's going to be emails, so you'll always know. But until then, go to mangatasmuse.com. You'll see all of what's coming up. And if you drop a like and a comment, you guys will go ahead and get registered for the little 7 chakra crystal bag. And until next Wednesday, I want to say thank you guys. Thank you for walking this path with me. I hope we can do this hand in hand together. That was the final part of this series, but the journey is never linear. As you can see, we have a lot to move through. And I want you to know you're never alone. I love you, I see you, and I believe in your healing, and I believe in your fire. Thanks, guys. I know I ran way over. There's a lot going on, but I'm very excited, and I'm excited for the full moon sound bath that's going to be starting here in half an hour. I got to get home. I got to feed my dogs before that happens. So I love you all, and I will see you next Wednesday. Try that again. Get this fly out of here. Bye, guys. Love you.